All right, so it's kind of weird, I guess, for me. I'm making a video. I plan to send out to my neighborhood, I suppose, because I want to make sure to get everybody, and anybody's welcome to share this anywhere in Paris or anywhere else for that matter. I got a letter today talking about my house, threatening me. See, it's in these big bold letters. Around here, you would have learned that in the Bible, when they're big bold letters, that means it's serious shit. It's not just the other serious stuff. But anywho, so I get this letter. It has a picture of tools. Let me see. It's got a wheelbarrow, got some tires, furniture. Mostly it's equipment, compressor. This looks like an old picture. This is an old picture, actually, which is weird. They're sending an old picture up here. But anyways, of stuff. So since this is the second time I've gotten one of these, I wanted to explain to, I guess, anybody that cares, if it applies to you. You can listen, if not, don't. But I wanted to explain to either the city or the neighbor or person or persons that I've offended. Maybe you could see a little, you could hear me out. First, I work, we have a small business, me and my wife. As a matter of fact, we've worked on several houses around here, and we're the type of people that keep the original hardwood floors. And I keep like things like this out of these houses that people are going to throw away, because we would rather put them back into the houses. And she refinishes the hardwood and cabinets. And one time I spent 12 hours figuring out how to make the headers and old trim out of old wood that I pulled from something else in the neighborhood, just because it was cool. It's the way it was originally done, and there's no reason why we can't put it back like that, is my point of view. And we don't mean to make the neighborhood look messy, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of background. So see, I don't have I work out of a car, and she works out of a small truck, and sometimes because of our schedules, she's taking the kids somewhere, or I'm coaching my son's baseball team or assisting, and we have to just empty the stuff out real quick, my tools, to load up whatever we got to do, or to get groceries or whatever. We don't have like a work truck and a regular truck right now. So we have a lot of stuff. A lot of times I demo houses, and when we go into them, there's stuff left, like these shells and stuff. And I say things like these. You can see trim and boards and old dressers and mirrors. Some stuff's old and original, and some stuff's specific to these houses. A lot of furniture and things that would normally be thrown away, I'll get and give to people that don't have it. Because, I didn't have it. Now, I know that it's an eyesore for a little while, but during none of the time, did all this happen, did anybody bother to get out and knock on the door and ask, hey, is there anything I can do to help you? Or, it's bothering me, can you clean it up? Somebody had to make this paper. They had to sell it at a store, and somebody had to buy it, and somebody had to print something, put it in the printer and print something, and the ink and the stamps and the mailman, and probably went to another town and then come back here to mail it right down the road. The person that called the city and then the city had to drive out here, I mean, think about it. A lot of shit had to happen for me to get this letter, and none of that time did anybody think to stop and say, hey, do you need help with this mess? You know? So I walked around today. I walked around the neighborhood. I walked around the city. I walked around some of the county businesses and stuff. And nobody, not one place did I see that was perfect. And I thought, surely if somebody's going to go through all the trouble of threatening, these things, they're threatening to take my property and possessions away from people. Not to mention, my landlord probably gets the same letter. You know, so to me, I'm just the type of person that would knock on your door if I had a problem with something and just say, hey, can we work this out like adults? Because the police and the inspectors and shit, they're not there to do this kind of shit. This isn't the purpose of them. And if we let this be the purpose of them, then what are we doing? You can't, I'm the most pleasant person you'll ever meet. I'm outside playing my guitar on my front porch in the afternoons and on the weekends, and we're always throwing the football. I got kids surrounding us. All the time we're outside, and nobody can just say what they're thinking. They want to get authorities involved. And I just thought, well, I'm going to go walk around. And I met a man. He got a letter like this. And he said, man, this ain't even my place. I'm just helping this old couple. They just accumulated stuff. And I said, well, I understand. I never pay attention to anybody else's things. I guess I'm busy. I'm busy with doing good things, you know? Like, we're good people. And there's my wife now. If you've ever met her or seen that truck, you know that she's constantly working. I'll talk to you in a second. And you know that she's constantly out there, and she's good, and you might see her at a school or at one of the ball games. I mean, in none of this time did anybody get out and say, hey, they got the authorities involved and they're threatening us with letters. So I walked around the neighborhood, and I walked around the city, and I walked around the county courthouses, and some people got letters, some didn't. Some people had way worse mess than I did, and some didn't. And then I talked to some other friends that were in the same kind of business. Their yards pretty much the same. Some have nicer trailers than I got, and some don't. And there was nothing that I could see that made any sense. There's nobody's yard perfect or is innocent. I teach my kids to be respectful. They're not always respectful. I try to live respectful, but I sometimes miss things. So I just try to have an all general rule of thumb to say it to people instead of through people, okay? But I don't know exactly who it is, so I'm going to go broadly. And I welcome everybody to share this as much as you would like. Maybe instead of threats, we talk to our neighbors and get to know them instead of making assumptions about them. Because, for one, if you knew my wife, you know she would never let any of this stuff go on. But the furniture and the stuff, it'll be thrown away. The tools and things, there ain't much I can do about that right now, unless I can find a free work truck laying around. If you ain't got none of those, shut the fuck up. I mean, really. Because your house ain't clean. There's something there. And one of these days, people are going to send a letter to you. And you're going to have to wonder, am I going to just react and do everything? Or am I going to think about what is going on, what I'm being accused of, who is saying it, what's their house look like? Well, the city had violations. There's things that if you just walk around and look up around the court square, they'll blow your mind when you think about how dangerous they are. But none of those people, see, they don't have to pay. Me and you pay. Like me and you pay the man to go around and fine everybody. It doesn't make any sense. So I'd appreciate it if anybody has any concerns. They can even message me on Messenger or Facebook, or they could come to the house and we could sit down and have some sweet tea on the front porch. And maybe they got some advice. I'm open to any advice any of you have. I'm not mad. I'm not trying to be ugly, not even a little bit. I'll show you. See, one of these tables in this picture, let me show you what it was. It was a table out of an old school around here. And this table my wife took out, and she's refinishing it. I think this might have come out of the Atkins Porter School at one time, which is ironic. That's the neighborhood we're having problems in, and we're probably the people that's remodeled or been involved in remodeling at least 10 houses. I take the time to save the trim, take the time to refinish the floors. My wife does a great job on any of the woodworking. We have put new showers in these houses. We've done a lot for this neighborhood, probably a lot more than that city guy going around taxing everybody, and a whole lot more than anybody that any of my neighbors judging me. First of all, everybody I've talked to has been very pleasant, so I can't imagine it was none of them. It had to be somebody that feels like, what do you feel like? You got a nice big house down the end of the road, you think you can rule everybody else? Is that what it is? Or is it really just this guy driving around in the truck all day that gets paid essentially from the people, I guess, and he's just ticketing why didn't he ticket the guy down the road with the brush pile on the end of the thing? Or why didn't he ticket that lady that's got all that crap out in her yard, full buckets full of stuff? And what about the damn walkways at the courthouse? Did they get a letter? What about some of the stuff that's falling down in the alleyways uptown? Did they get a letter? What about the cigarette things? Those are obnoxious, and those are in front of all the county and city buildings. What about those? Did they get a letter? What about several numerous things all around you? Did they get letters? So I am welcoming somebody or anybody to explain to me why I got a letter, and not everybody else gets letters, because we're not perfect, but we're making the difference as best as we can. And if you got some advice, you can come talk to me. Don't send me no fucking letter in the mail. You might think that calling an authority and stuff is the right thing to do, but it's like tattletelling. The right thing to do would be an adult. These people aren't here to take care of this kind of shit. These people aren't here to just... These people are here when we can't get along and resolve it. It's not supposed to be for every little thing. This is silly. I'm sure this is a public record, so whoever done it will find out, I guess. And I just want to know, is your house clean? As a matter of fact, I guess we need to find out everybody that got one of these. And we need to find out who didn't, and we need to find out why did some people get them and some didn't. Because surely the courthouse and all the banks uptown that have their Bushes, Oakley, and trash out in their thing, and the electric company, they got all kinds of trash out around their buildings. They're fancy, though. They look nice, so they put a lot of money into remodeling those buildings. What about those warehouses in that old apartment building? Did they get letters? You know, me and my wife, we do this kind of work. We would be glad to help get some of it fixed. There's a lot of people looking for work right now that would love to come help you clean that shit up. Why aren't those things cleaned up? Why am I getting letters? Is your house clean? Did you get a letter? Does anybody even wonder why this is able to be done? It's been a beautiful day. It's been a great walk. And everybody I met was very pleasant. Can you come knock on the door next time, please?